Almost 3 years ago, in January 2019, the Dionysus project was initiated, taking into consideration the current situation of the inland waterway transport activities deployed on the Danube River, which offer, as all of us know, significant free capacity for growing both cargo and passenger flows. In order to increase the cargo and passenger flows and to reach this generally accepted goal, not only better fairway conditions, modern, energy efficient, and greener Danube inland waterway transport fleet are required, but also comprehensive infrastructure planning and efficient investment solutions are needed. The main aim of the Dionysus project is to turn the Danube ports into high-performing, better connected, and integrated hubs, part of the multi- and intermodal transport chains, and also as preferential centers for industrial investment.
We will have 4 priorities: a smarter Danube region, a greener, low-carbon Danube region, a more social Danube region, and priority 4, a better cooperation governance in the Danube regions.
The inland waterway structure would need quite substantial funding in the coming years under the current multi-financial framework of the European Union. That would amount to 47 billion. However, current self-support only is around 1.8 billion, so there's quite a gap. So I think that needs a very strong lobbying also from your side.
It is a special challenge also for Danube navigation, because here we certainly have to say that we still have significant shortcomings in the waterway infrastructure, and especially in the fairway maintenance. I do not want to point into detail what happened in mid-September, beginning of October, with the blockage of the Danube at Belen Island, 200 vessels being locked, 150,000 tons of cargo could not reach for 2 weeks the clients. And this is certainly not the ideal framework conditions for increasing the transport on the Danube.
Into a statement which Adina Valian, our commissioner for transportation in Europe, gave, and she makes it very clear here, and she says that the inland waterways have a substantial role in the decarbonization of the future of the whole transport sector. And it just carries about 6%, only 6% of the EU wide freight capacities which are transported today. We have asked the industry, if you want to shift more products to the Danube, what are your expectations? What is it what you really need in order to shift to the Danube? And the outcome is here on this slide, and we only take a look on the left side. We only take a look at the industry expectation at this time, please. The industry said 4 major parts. She suggested to have an EU inland waterway fund. It acknowledged on one side that it is necessary to do the investments into the technical development of the vessel, because there is not the money, there's not the capital and not the business case behind it, but we need inland waterway transportation in order to decarbonize the transportation sector. We have seen so often now through the different funding programs that some countries do the funding of the IWD sector much better than other countries. And that is something we have to avoid in the future. We have somehow to come into this funding scheme where we make a European funding, where all the European countries having the same possibilities to access the money.
What could we do better from now on in order for everybody to be able to be part of a why not win-win situation?
Romania is the main contributor when it comes to the barge flows going down to Constanța. We are not the only ones. Obviously, Serbia is also a major contributor. Hungary, but these countries contribute less than what Romania does. The good thing is that we have seen a significant growth in terms of production. To give you some numbers, we went from 16 million tons production in 2009, and I'm talking the 5 main crops that we grow: wheat, barley, corn, rapeseed, and sunnies. So we went from 16 million tons to 30 million tons, if not more, in the current year. This is by all means significant. What we need from all of you is a competitive, indeed, and a reliable service. One of the things that makes the river less attractive to us, it's because it's not reliable. In most of the years in the past or in the recent history, we are talking about the low water situation, the weather impact, or whatever. We have to address that. This is something by definition that the private industry cannot do. We need to ask support from the state. We are talking about the infrastructure of the Danube port. Definitely, we need to further develop there. And where I because we don't normally talk about that, what I think we should target is also an increase of the loading speed. All this growth that is expected to come our way will not happen if we cannot load faster.
Regarding port administration, it is, let's say, as per the Romanian law, more than 50% from the income have to be invested in maintenance. This have to be done, and this have to be, let's say, measured by the Ministry of Transport and the Port Operators Association in order to be, let's say, to be sure that the money was spent correctly. For sure, we will have to face another problem because it is not acceptable to change the possibility for alternative fuel like hydrogen by using an old vessel. You cannot refurbish the actual vessels for comply with the hydrogen supply chain, and I think this will cause this will need investments in new pushers. And for the moment, if even right now a cost of a liner pusher it took around 5 million euro, for the one which will be constructed for using hydrogen, I think will be doubled. And as far as I know, the money from the EU for this investment for the moment are not clear.
Yes, we know that green energies have to be implemented, but we have to know what is the cost and what can be subsidized, because the investment are huge, and just leaving all this just on the companies cannot be a way of good work.
The main problem that was acute until recently was a catastrophic shortage of grain carriers, but now it has been partially solved by increasing the number of private wagons. Also, another problem is the electrification of the railway, the absence of electrification. So it could be a dramatic solution to the railway problems in the south of Odessa, which will result in a gain in transportation cost owing to the switch to electric traction. And this will also allow the trains to run a little bit faster speed.
The Lower Danube is a very dynamic sector, and at the same time, it's a very sensitive, because we are already responsible to keep in balance the ecological status for the river life. And in this context, we have a capacity to provide information about the water level, to provide about the information about the marking system, and also to perform the dredging activity for maintenance, for capital dredging, and also to develop the technical solution for improving the navigation conditions. That means river engineering intervention. And it is a very complex activity. And together with other administration, waterway administration, we try to implement the maintenance plan, but also to implement the new technology in order to realize the river engineering training engineering intervention.
Of course, we have plans that are undergoing or are projected for the next period of time. And I will start with, let's say, these projects are focused on improving the quality of the infrastructure that the operators and all the other companies involved in handling cargoes need in terms of fastening the transit of the cargoes in the port. And one of such project is the extension of the road between Gate 7 and the entrance, the connection with the highway. And everybody that knows Port of Constanța, during the summer, this road is very congested because there's a lot of trucks coming with cereals from the hinterland. And this project will help to make the traffic more fluid.
We try to develop solution for improving the navigation conditions for about 500 kilometers. We have about 2 years delay because the environmental authority from Romania and Bulgaria was not ready to provide us the necessary documents to develop in good conditions this environmental impact assessment. That means in 2023, we'll be ready to sign the contract for design and works.
The problem of the Danube, of the inland waterway transport, of the inland ports, it's a problem of the politics. And I will explain you why. It's necessary at the level of the Ministry of Transport to a strategy for this sector to be issued, to evaluate the situation of the infrastructure, to evaluate or to prioritize the projects for the development of infrastructure, to analyze the activity of the administration and maybe to restructure this the policy and the mode of works of this administration. In the last 10 years, a lot of European funds had been allocated for Danube and for the inland ports, and unfortunately remain unused. In the next period, also, a lot of money will be allocated. And if you compare the value of projects on the road with the project and the works in the ports, the difference is huge. In ports with, let's say, with some money dedicated to 2 kilometers of highway, you could renew the port. Yeah, the port of Constanța is in danger. It will be isolated in sometime in the future if we do not do something with road, but mainly with the Danube.